You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner.
G'day everyone and welcome again to the chat. This is a special edition of the chat reporting live from the Magic Millions here on the Gold Coast. For the very first time, my guest is actually sitting next to me today. And joining me today is Joe O'Neill from Prime Thoroughbreds. G'day Joe, how are you mate?
Good to see you. Welcome up to the Gold Coast, Ben.
Thank you very much. First of all, do you want to inform our listeners and viewers of your purchase so far? It's a Spirit of Boom, I believe?
Yeah, I got a nice Spirit of Boom filly out of a mare we raced called Our Cedar, and she was a very good mare that won 5 races and won races at Flemington, Sandown, Moonee Valley and Canterbury, and she's from a very good family. With her mother Amy Lee throwing a horse that won $819,000 here in Australia and Hong Kong. So she's a lovely filly. I mean, Spirit of Boom, a very good horse. I was lucky enough to race one of the good Sequalo colts earlier, the piece called Holding, and then when Spirit of Boom came along, I've been sort of watching him for a while, and now he got a very good book of mares after his initial crop raced so well, and this is a filly out of that crop of good mares. So I'm excited about having her, and as I said, I loved Our Cedar. She was a beautiful mare, and this filly's looked like a mother.
And obviously you're a syndicator, but you're also looking at all the horses too. What would a tip be for someone that's come to the sales for the first time? What kind of criteria should they be using when they're first looking at yearling?
Well, it's very difficult. People don't really know what they're looking at most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you probably go and have a look at the number of horses at the good studs. I mean, it's not hard to work out which the best farms are.
Coolmore, for example, etc.
Well, Coolmore, but Yarraman Park. But the best drafts here at the sale are probably Widden and Yarraman Park. And Eden Glass has got a very good draft. Mm-hmm. So you just go around, have a look at the types of horses they're selling, because this is a select sale. Mm-hmm. So the horses that are here are selected by Magic Millions to come here, and it's a sale that the breeders really work hard to get their yearlings into.
And how did you get into racehorse syndication and setting up your business in Prime Thoroughbreds, Joe? And how long have you been operating for?
Yeah, no, we started in 1997. I was in the army before that, but I've always been interested in racing and raced horses when I was about 18, before I joined the army. And Bill Mitchell was a good friend of mine, and he was a very big trainer at the time. A good trainer in Sydney. He had horses like General Laderne and Diggity Dancer, and I went and joined him back in 97. We became business partners. We set the business up as a partnership, and he retired in 2005, and I continued on from there. And we've had a lot of success over the years. But when Bill was training for me, and with Prime, we've won about 1,000 races, the horses that we've syndicated, and we've had a lot of good horses. I mean, this year we've had a very good year with obviously Rubisaki, who was a superstar, and Patus, who's the New South Wales Joint Bob's Horse of the Year. So to win, to have the best Bob's Horse in New South Wales is a fairly big feather in our cap when you look at competing against Darley and Gay Waterhouse and Chris Waller and all those big stables in Sydney. Yep,
and you talk about good horses and winning and stuff. Tell us about the day you won this one, the 3-year-old Guineas, this trophy here.
That was great. I mean, Flying Jess, we set her for the race after she won the South Australian Sires, and she came up and everything fell into place. We gave her a run in Sydney 3 weeks later. We brought her up here, and she was in good order, and on the day a superb ride by Ty England, and he put her in the right spot, and she was too strong for them.
And do you use any particular ownership model? For example, do you cap how many shares are available in each horse? Because there's some of the biggest syndicators, they get criticised sometimes because they'll have 3,000 people in a horse, and then on a race day that'll cause a problem because it means not every owner can get an owner's ticket, for example.
Yeah, no, I don't like to really. I mean, look, everything has its place, but with our business, the way we like to do things, we'd like to have no more than 20 owners of a horse. In most of our horses, we've got 15, 14, 15. Sometimes less, because when you go to the races, you want to be able to spend some time with people.
Yep.
And also, we found that works well for us, and it means that if you get a good horse like, say, Flying Jess or a Custom Eagle or a Rubisaki, I mean, if you own 10% of a horse like that, when it finishes racing, and the prize money it earns when you're racing, I mean, you're going to get a fairly good return for your investment. So I look at it that way, and we just like to be a bit more personal than the big sort of supermarket sort of organisations.
What's life like away from racing for Joe O'Neill?
Yeah, it's good actually. I've married Marie, obviously been married for a long time, 33 years, and we've got 3 children. We spend a lot of time with them. I play a bit of golf. We travel a bit because of the job we're in, so we're lucky in that regard. But no, I have a pretty good life. You know, I probably do things and meet people that through my life that a lot of other people have never done. It's been good.
And you talk about the army, Joe. That's something you often touch on with me off air all the time. How long were you in the army for, and where were you based, and what did you do when you were in the army?
Yeah, no, I was in the army for 20 years. I was an infantry officer. I graduated from Courtship in 1978, and I was based at Holsworthy and I was in Sydney. I was in Hobart for my last posting, which was nice. I was up at the Lean Warfare Centre at Canungra, and I had a couple of Army Reserve jobs. So and I just had a little bit of work overseas. So it was good fun, and the best thing about the army was the quality of the people I've worked with. They're outstanding. A lot of very good people, and to this day, I mean, I've still got close friends from those days, and we get on really well.
Just back on syndication, how many horses do you currently have in your syndication stable, and how many trainers do you use in which states?
Yeah, no, I have about 50 horses on the books all the time. I don't like to have more than that because it becomes a bit of a management thing. You know, you want to be able to do it properly, and we don't employ staff. Marie and I do it ourselves. So to have 50 horses is a nice number. We get help from Kate, our daughter, and Race helps us, and Kate's partner Luke. He enjoys the racing, and he's up here this week.
He is.
He's being very useful in helping us, and it's a lot of fun.
What's your biggest thrill or memory in racing? Is it Flying Jess, this one, or is it another one?
That's a good question, actually. People often ask me that. I think probably the biggest thrill I had was Husson Eagle winning, because I'd set him for the race 6 months before and spoken to Patrick about it, and we went through the whole program, and we set it out, and it fell into place right up until him running in Sydney at the start before, and then coming up here and winning the race. And it was our first $1 million race we've won. I mean, we've had other. I mean, this year Rubisaki's win was another, a plan we had to do. It was really difficult because of COVID, but it worked out very well. I mean, every race you win is sort of special for someone involved, and that's something you've got to realise. For some people, they may only ever win one race. So, but for us, I think Husson Eagle will always have a special place, and also Calming when she won our first city race, when she won for us in Brisbane all those years ago, and then went on to be our first Melbourne winner and our first Adelaide winner. She was a great mare.
And you mentioned Patrick Payne. He's got one of your banner horses too, I believe. And how did the connection with Pat come about?
Paddy used to ride for me. He's a very good jockey. We've always got on well, and we've just sort of run into each other at the sales and around the place, and I was looking for a trainer I like to work with young trainers. I mean, Patrick's a young man relatively in the training business, as is Chris Lees and John Thompson. I've known Chris a long time, and John Thompson was our foreman when I was with Bill Mitchell. I've known Tony Gold's family for a long time, most of my life actually. And Adam Trinder's a young trainer in Tassie who does a good job for us. So I like to work with the younger trainers, and Patrick's done a very good job for us.
And looking through the catalogue, obviously you've only bought one. Is there any others in particular that have been impressed you so far?
Yeah, we've got another. I'd like to get about another 3 or 4, and we'll just have to wait and see. The prices have been higher than I had expected them to be, but that's not a problem. I mean, you meet the market, and these big sales. They're more like a long distance race, like a marathon. And so at the moment we're about 8 kilometres into a 42-kilometre marathon, and a lot of people spend a lot of money so far, so you just wonder whether how much longer that'll go for.
And just one last one, for anyone looking to buy into a horse with Prime Thoroughbreds, why should they choose Prime Thoroughbreds?
Well, firstly we get winners. It helps. I mean, I'm like a football coach. If a football coach doesn't win games, he gets sacked. And we get a lot of winners. We've got a lot of good clients who've been with us for a long time, and we do a great job. And we've always worked with good studs, and that's always worked very well.
Excellent. Thanks very much for joining me.
That's great.
Appreciate it.
When you're enjoying Magic Millions?
Yes, I'm having a great time, mate.
I hope you continue to enjoy it, and thanks very much for your time.
Excellent. Cheers, mate.
See you.
Thank you.
And all the kings